Today on War on Weight, it's just what I promised you, part 2 with the interview with Katie Jefcoat. If you're wondering, who's Katie Jefcoat? That means you didn't listen to the last episode, so maybe you should hit pause and go back and listen to our previous episode because it's really fantastic. It's all about happiness. But you're like, no, Keitha, I'm on this episode. I want to listen to this one. Well, this one is about intentional margins. My friend Katie, which I'm going to tell you all about her, she created and founded Intentional Margins. It's the way that she helps women reduce their randomness and create harmony between their to-dos and their priorities and intentionally enjoy the meaningful parts of life without feeling guilt. It basically is a really simplified way of getting your priorities right and making you enjoy your life and just feeling a lot less hectic. You're going to love the episode. But let me tell you a little bit about Katie if you didn't meet her in the last episode. Katie is a happiness curator. She is a kindness crusader. She's a speaker, author, and motivator who supports mostly women to move from feeling hectic to harmonious. She's a recovering trial lawyer, and so she knows firsthand what it feels like to have a demanding job. But she's an entrepreneur with a passion that lights her hair on fire, and she has a busy family, but so she's right in the thick of it with us. Like, she has a full life, and she's still pursuing so many wonderful things. I can't wait for you to meet my friend Katie, and let's jump into the episode and learn all about intentional margins. Hey sister, welcome to the War on Weight. Do you want to find some motivation to finally lose your extra pounds? Do you want to feel great in your favorite pair of jeans? Do you want some weight loss that's actually sustainable? Have you given up that any program will ever work for you? Well, I'm Keitha and I'm your new best friend. I've spent a lifetime on the losing side of the battle. I felt frustrated, exhausted, self-conscious, and despite any success I had in life, I felt like a failure, but I finally won the war. How did I do it, you ask? I discovered how to implement simple, healthy habits, how to completely revamp my mindset, and embrace some things that were causing me to turn to food over and over again. Lastly, I discovered how to make nutrition really super simple. And after just a few short months of fueling my body properly, I dropped more than 50 pounds, and I'm maintaining it by practicing all the healthy habits you're going to learn on this podcast. So if you're tired of feeling like a prisoner in your own body, you're buying clothes to hide your body, not celebrate it, you're done having your weight affect all your relationships with others and, more importantly, with yourself. You no longer want to eat your feelings and then beat yourself up about it, then this is the podcast for you. Let's armor up, sister, and fight this war on weight together. Aren't we so glad that Katie is the curator, because you are so incredibly intelligent. And so you can take in all of this science and all of this content and then turn it into your 1-minute podcast and your 5-minute blog. And we'll talk about those again towards the end, but they're fabulous. And just like this chicken soup is going to be fabulous. You're going to put in all this time and give us all the information that we need. And we're going to be able to read it in like 5 minutes. All right. So now let's talk a little bit about my favorite thing that you do. Is called intentional margin, how they can put it to practice in their life.
Yeah, I'd love to. It's so good. It's just has brought me so much clarity, which just goes with this whole idea of order, right? For me. And so it was born out of, a lot of stress. I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you, but you have like 742 things on your to-do list and you get 740 of them done. And all you think about are the 2 you didn't get done.
Absolutely.
Right. It's annoying, but we do it.
We do it. We beat ourselves up. Well, we're, sometimes I say that sometimes I need to go back and write down all the things I did that wasn't on my to-do list, because then it will say, oh, well, you're actually kind of a superwoman. Like, how did you get all this done? But we will focus on the things. It actually happened to me yesterday. I got all the things done yesterday. Like, I was really getting a lot done. And then my husband asked me to do one thing other outside of my normal daily things that I do around the house and the farm and my business and my job and all these things that I do, do for him. He asked me to do one thing. When I had to tell him no, I didn't get to that. It just broke my heart. It wasn't that I beat myself up over it, but it made me sad.
Yeah.
That I'm like, oh, that's an intentional margin. My relationship with my husband is one of my intentional margins. It is intentional. That is, and I should have put the one thing he needed me to do, which was a 10-minute phone call or less. I should have put that above me posting a Pinterest post or, a Facebook post or There was things that I did yesterday that I could have moved to another day. It's prime example. So anyway, go ahead with your story. That is my fell off the intentional margin wagon yesterday story.
I mean, it happens. The best thing is that we get to do it all over again, right? We can always pick up. But, there's all these analogies, which, I was thinking about when I was, creating intentional margins, like running on the hamster wheel, spinning all the plates, walking the tightrope, juggling all the balls. Those, we all know what those are. And those analogies, they come from this feeling of overwhelmed, not having focus and clarity, not feeling fulfilled. Like, what is fulfilling? Whether it's fulfilled happiness or it's this idea that we are doing what matters in this life. Mm. And, my kids are getting older. I don't know. I was just thinking a lot about what would happen if I looked back at the end of this week. Did I do anything that was like fulfilling, that lit my hair on fire? What if it was the end of my year, end of my life, sitting on my rocking chair or whatever? Like, is this it for me? Is this what I've wanted? And I get everyone is in a different stage in life, and, you get to decide what that looks like for you. And I'm not saying you have to be a creative entrepreneur in order to have like these big aha moments, but I think that this is open for everyone. My sister, she's a nurse. She doesn't have hardly any margin, right? She's got a bunch of kids. She's a nurse. She's running around. It's crazy. But I created this concept, intentional margins, and what it is just feels so aligned. It's this idea that there's a buffer of like space and time. Like there's this buffer where we can create harmony between our to-dos and our priorities. It's never balance. Balance is overrated. It doesn't exist. And harmony is this idea that you get to have a give and take, like 80% of the time, let's try for, Mm-hmm. And so how do we create harmony between our to-dos and our priorities? And what goes on that to-do list? How do we identify what's a to-do versus like what's a want? And is pay the taxes higher up than power wash the front steps? Right. Like we have all these things on our list. We don't even know what's important. And it just feels like we're hustling. And we could just literally not even be hustling like on a side hustle. We could be hustling on like trying to get through the day.
Just getting through life.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we're on autopilot, if I'm being real with you. I think we just go through life on autopilot and we're just trying to get through. But there's some magic in the intention of it. And I think that's what's so interesting. If you open up a book, you know what you're going to get. The words are fully justified. You know that there's margin. You turn the page, you know what it's going to look like. You can read it, right? Feels very like safe. But what would happen if you turn the page and 7 lines were out into the margin and it wasn't fully justified anymore and you never knew what was going to happen at the next paragraph? Your eyes wouldn't like it. It would be hard to do, right? It'd feel hard, feel like efforting.
Yeah.
Randomness causes overwhelm. When you're reading a book and everything, there's no margins anymore, feels heavy. And so I was thinking about that. And what I think is like the words are probably your to-do list. There's just stuff we got to get done. Got to go to the dentist, got to do some stuff, right? And then the best parts of our day, the parts where we look back and we're like, that felt great. Those are in the margins. Mm-hmm. But it's when the to-dos creep out into the margins, if you're thinking about a book, that it just feels hard. So how do we protect the margins? We protect it through some flexible boundaries. We protect it by having some intention about how we're going to show up. I have this free PDF on my website called My Intentional Day. And it's really just this idea that we should praise ourselves for what we did great the day before, because we're not doing that enough, friends. Got to do that. And, just some gratitude and some things that we know the happiness science will, help us. And then set up our intention. Like, what are the things I need to do? What are the things I want to do? How do I want to show up? Sometimes I do a word, like I want to show up, confident. I'm going into a meeting, or today my word is, fun. mean, who knows what it is? Maybe I'm like tonight I'm going to do something with the children and I'm going to be like, I'm set my attention. I'm going to check myself, take some breaths, be like, I'm going to show up fun. I've got this. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's very similar to the situation with me and the one thing my husband asked me to do. He asked me to do something, and that may be a to-do thing. But if I put it into what my intentions are and what I value and what I want to be my priorities, it was not a to-do list. Yeah. It was a way that I could show up for my husband. And I want to show up in that relationship as the best version of me. So when I think about, what are my priorities are always my family, my finances, and my health. And what I've learned is I've had those out of order for a very long time. Finances was always very high on my priority list, maybe one, like the top slot all the time. So everything I did was to make more money, have more money, be able to do more for more people. Not a bad thing, but I allowed my family and my health to suffer from it. So by putting it back into perspective and putting my priorities back in line I've used your worksheet, of course, and just over the past couple of years as thinking about that, my health has to be my number one priority. And that has to be my spiritual health, my mental health, and my physical health. Mm-hmm. And then comes my family. And then comes my finances, because I would much rather show up for my family and be the person that they need me to be than to have a couple extra $1,000 to be able to buy them things to make up for the time that I didn't have to spend with them. And so it's just, I just think your system's beautiful. And it's really a simple system that people can plug into their day and just start to work through.
Yeah.
So easy.
Yeah. I want to tell you a quick story, and then I will just share the entire step-by-step system with your listeners.
Oh, perfect.
So grab a piece of paper and just get it and use it, love it, whatever you want. But I was talking with a girlfriend yesterday, and we were talking about layoffs and pay cuts and stuff, and an economy that is ever changing and evolving right now. And she said something that I thought was so insightful, and I just thought of it based on what you said, Keitha. And she said, look, I don't want to get laid off. She doesn't think she's actually going to get laid off, but, and I don't really want a pay cut. But I know that I'm wealthy. I don't have a lot of money, but I have a support system that will support me no matter what. We don't have a lot of money. My parents don't have a lot of money. She was in her late 20s, newlywed. We don't have a lot, but I've got people that will support me no matter what. And I feel really good about that foundation. And I was just that's smart.
Smart. And to be so young.
Yeah. I was like, gosh.
She's been given such a great foundation.
Yeah. I'd love to meet her parents.
Yeah.
All
right. So tell us the steps.
Okay. So simple. It's called the impact method. The I and the M stand for intentional margins. Super simple. So intentional margins, like we mentioned, it's this idea that you can create harmony between your to-dos and your priorities. So the action really is, what are your priorities? What's your North Star? How do you align in this universe? For me, my core values are order, sleep. If I don't get enough sleep, I can't, number one, I just can't perform at the level that I want, but I am not the same person when I don't have sleep. And
me either.
It's just very important to me that I get sleep. It's a core value. My marriage is a core value, like you mentioned. I mean, I'm going to be an empty nester at some point. I still want to be married. I still want to, I really enjoy marriage and my husband. I think he's great. So
I bet your kids are glad to know that you're not going to lock them in the attic.
I mean, we already told them that wherever they go to college, we're buying an apartment and moving.
Yeah. I know this about you, I'm just excited that you've come to the conclusion that at some point you have to let the children move.
Some point I will,
but not today.
Not today. I'm obsessed with those kids.
Yes, you are.
And there's hard to,
there's nothing wrong with being an amazing mother. There's really not.
It's very fun. I have a have a child, a girl who's in 9th grade, and she is very independent and very much like me. She will fly the coop as fast as she can and get like 17 dogs and 25 cats, and they'll never be able to go visit her because I'm allergic to them. But she will be fine. I'm not worried about her, but I love hanging out with her, that it makes me already sad.
Oh, yeah. I'm just telling you, when she's 25, you are going to love hanging out with her.
Oh, well.
And she's going to love hanging out with you.
Let's hope.
But there's that messy middle.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Anyway, back to the
program. Yeah. I love this so much. You are just such a dream. It is so much fun to chat with you.
This is just great.
I think whoever decides to listen to this, they're really getting an in-depth behind the scenes approach.
Oh, absolutely. And that's how I approach my podcast, is that it's the real deal. Like, I bring them solid resources from real people who have walked the walk, and they put whatever it is, resource that they have, they put it into practice, because I want to encourage and empower women to get to their best health. And the only way to do that is to give them every resource possible, because not every resource works for every person. And
100%. 100%.
So, you know, one listener may listen to this and go, y'all crazy. I ain't doing that. And then other people are going to say, oh my gosh, how simple is that? I can do that, but I can't create a gratitude jar like we talked about last week, you know? So anyway, no.
Yeah, I totally get
it. They get this every week. So
good.
Go ahead.
All right. It's fun times over here. Well, it really is like, there's not one thing that works for everyone. So you have to do what works for you. And I preach that all the time. I'm a firm believer of that. So this is the method. You can figure out how it works for you. I'm going to run through it, and then at least you will have something as you're listening to this. So if you don't have your paper, grab it. Impact method, the I and the M we just talked about. Intentional margins. What's your North Star? The P is for priority. When you identify your priority, how you want to show up, how you're living your life on purpose, you're creating a more fulfilling life. And that compounds, right? P is for priority. So what matters most, and why do you care? So my marriage matters. Why? Because I want a healthy, sustaining marriage, and I just think my husband is great. Priority. A, in impact, is for action. There are a million ways to do anything. We just mentioned that. But you have to decide and name what actionable steps that you will take that will move you closer to your goals, move you closer to staying on track, staying focused. So the question that you ask yourself is, what action can I take to achieve my priority? What does that look like? So if my husband and my marriage is my priority, if my marriage is my priority, then maybe it's date night on Thursdays. Maybe it's quarterly weekends away. Maybe it's coffee in the morning while he's still working from home for 5 minutes or 15 minutes.
Making a phone call.
Exactly.
Having breakfast ready for him.
Yeah.
How hard is that?
What is the action? You have to decide.
For me to show my husband love, I cook him breakfast. He loves it. He loves it. He feels loved.
Yeah.
That's important to me.
100%. So the action, what does that look like? And then I like to put the C as calendar. So I truly believe that what gets calendared gets done, right? That's from Stephen Covey. Mm-hmm. But writing it down solidifies your willingness to prioritize important tasks and priorities, right? Yes. It's your willingness to prioritize it. So where am I going to make time? Time's our most valuable resource to prioritize the action that then, reflects my priority. So is it Thursday nights for date night? Is it from 9 to 9:15 on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings? Like, what is it? It could be anything. You get to decide what works for you. And then the final step is T, timely evaluation. So I think this is the step that most people miss when they're like thinking about doing things. And I think this is where all the magic is. Because timely evaluation of your action and your priority, right? What did it work? Did it not work? Should I be pivoting or recalibrating, right? So you ask yourself, Is this working? Did I pick the correct action to fulfill my intended priority? So was date night the thing that worked? Or were we always canceling or always too busy or talking about the kids too much or didn't feel like it was like this connection, right? Is coffee time in the morning not long enough? Like, what is it? Like having this timely evaluation. You can put it in your calendar, in your Google Calendar every quarter, little reminder. Hey, how's that priority looking? But if we don't evaluate it, we never know. And we get to pivot. We get to recalibrate. We have different seasons of life that are just different. It could be summertime, the holidays. It could be having kids in school, not having kids in school. Like seasons are change. So
yeah, my husband works a swing shift, so to speak. So 1 month he's on days and 1 month he's on nights. You're talking about pivoting.
Yeah.
Not only does he pivot, and I don't know how he does it, first of all, but my entire schedule has to flip because I intentionally have one meal a day with him. I intentionally want to greet him when he comes home from work. I intentionally put my phone down and try not to keep it in the room for at least 30 minutes when he gets home and before he leaves. So some months that's in the morning, some months that's in the afternoon. It is. And then I have to flip my whole work schedule. And I have to calendar, I have to go in and block my calendar at certain times so that appointments don't get scheduled during the time that I have created as my priority time. Yeah. So yeah, totally get it. So so everybody may have to do that evaluation at different times.
Absolutely.
For me, I have to evaluate every month. Every month I have to look back and say what worked, what didn't work.
And I would even say that you don't have to redo your calendar, but you get to.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Your calendar. You
always have to do. I have to always catch that word.
I know. It's so easy, right? It's so easy. And we can talk about this stuff all the time and
all day.
I mean, all day, every day. But at the end of the day, it's really impossible to predict how much happiness you will get from any specific change that you make in life. It's just impossible to predict. We're all individuals. We have to try things. We have to do what works for us.
Yeah.
Impact method might give people so much clarity that it feels like magic. And some other people, it could make them want to poke their eyes out. Writing in a gratitude journal could feel like so aligned, but saying a high five in front of the mirror is more their cup of tea. Right. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Whatever works for you. All righty. This has been so fun. So we talked a tiny bit about your podcast, a little bit about your blog, a little bit about the intentional margin in PDF and the files that you have available that are great resources. So tell my listeners about your website because it's packed full of resources. And I definitely want you to tell them about those beautiful kindness cards. So tell us all the things.
I'll do it really fast. I know this is getting kind of long and people are probably getting a little bit tired of hearing my voice.
The good thing is that we are podcasters. So when it gets too long, we split it into 2 episodes.
Of course. Why not? Right.
That's what we do. I'll let you know if there's happiness part 1 and happiness part 2. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. So much happiness. Okay. So my website is really simple. It's my name, Katie Jefcoat. So it's Katie, just the way you would expect, Katie. My last name, Jefcoat, Jefcoat. So it's katiejefcoat.com. You can find all the links to the podcast, Everyday Happiness, Finding Harmony and Bliss, everywhere you listen to podcasts or on your Amazon, Echo Dot, and all the places. I have a ton of resources and blogs that I just really, really like. They light my hair on fire. So go check them out. They're all free. You can do any and all of them, however it serves you. And then I have kindness cards because I truly believe, and our team truly believes, that kindness is contagious and that when we show up, the ripple effect, you just can't help it. So there are postcards and some greeting cards. We're working on more for 2023, all the magic. But they're postcards and they're kindness cards, and they're really fun sayings, from just because to remember your awesomeness to the world is better with you in it. And, they're just such a fun way to deliver kindness in the mailbox, which so much of a lost art. And the ripple effect is just crazy when you actually handwrite something and put it in the mail. So,
oh yeah. If you're looking for a stocking stuffer, if you have a gift box like me, I have a gift box where I have sitting around just in case something comes up where I have to have a gift. If you're looking for something that's an incredibly special gift that you could give away and just keep on hand, these cards are it. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful.
Well, thanks. And thanks for having me. Super
absolutely. Fun. I love having you and happy for you to come back and share more happiness anytime. Thanks, Katie. There you have it. That's the end of part 2 and completes my interview with my friend Katie Jefcoat. I hope you enjoyed these 2 episodes. I hope that you're working on your happiness during the month of December, that you're enjoying your family, that you're really finding true happiness, joy, peace, and love that the season of Christmas brings you. We're getting ready to head into 2023, y'all. Can you believe it? It's 2023. As you go into January and you start thinking about your New Year's resolutions and you start thinking about your health and wellness goals, I really hope that you'll consider working with me. I want to be your coach in 2023. I've got some options for you, whether you're trying to get physically fit, whether you're trying to lose some body weight, or you're trying to become spiritually fit. As your coach, I have some options where we can work together. So all you have to do is go over to CoachKeitha.com and schedule an appointment with me. Just pick a time that you and I can talk. There's never any obligation after your free call with me. But I just want to know what your goals are. I want to get to know you so that I can point you in the right direction. You've learned in my episodes over the last 6 months, I've got resources, girls. I've got them. I can point you in the right direction. So whether you come on full program as an Optavia client, or whether you come on as a student in my new course, The Weight Loss Battle Plan, or if you just join me for a monthly meetups with Revelation Wellness, or if maybe you jump into a vision board workshop or something like that over this coming year, I just want to work with you. So come on over to CoachKeitha.com, schedule your appointment with me. Check out the things that I have to offer. Make sure you look at my favorite things page. There's so many good things there. You want to make sure that you can just kind of look around. You'll get to know me a little bit more and see some of the other things that I have to offer for you. And I know in 2023, we're going to reach your health and wellness goals together. I am super excited to say that I lost my weight. I lost 56 pounds, guys, 56 pounds. And I lost it in 5.5 months. And I did it on program. And this month I'm celebrating 1 year maintaining it. It's been 1 year, guys, since I met my goal. I know how to do it. I've learned how to do it. I've learned how to maintain it so I can help you. I can't wait to work with you, and I can't wait to see you pop up on my calendar. Until next time. Sister, could you relate? Did you feel that woman inside of you just trying to break free? If so, then we need to be friends. Head on over to the Facebook and send me a friend request. I'll actually accept it. You'll get my daily healthy eating recipes and see all the fun I have living a larger life in my smaller body. And you may even get a laugh or two over me and my 50 plus chickens. I proudly claim the Crazy Chicken Lady title. Plus, you might get some gardening tips on growing your own healthy meals. You'll quickly fall in love with my chocolate lab Brady and one of my mini cats. You'll also see that I am a lipstick-loving, coffee-drinking mom, wife, and Jesus freak. Can't wait to see you over on Facebook. And more importantly, I really want to hear your thoughts on the show. I want to see your written reviews. Take 60 seconds and leave me a written review and then screenshot it and go on Instagram and tag me so I can give you a proper thank you for your review. If you're already thinking I might be the coach from you, you can go ahead and schedule a free appointment with me at CoachKeitha.com. And how you spell Keitha is Keatha, CoachKeitha.com. You can find all my social links in the show notes as well as my website link. Thanks again for listening to my show. I'll see you on the battlefield. Until next time.